There are numerous things that go into making a rider fast. One huge part is quite obviously a well-maintained and set up machine that's capable of doing the job you're asking it to do. However, if we're honest with ourselves, and given the extraordinary level that performance machines sit at right off the shelf, you have to reach a pretty high level as a rider before you can truly begin to blame the machine for holding you back. In this video, I want to highlight a trait I often see in the track riding world of pointing the finger at the machine being ridden rather than the thing on top of it that's riding it. Like I said, most riders will know that the potential of their bike will sit much higher than they're currently able to extract, particularly at track day level. But it doesn't stop the vast array of riders itching to get their wallets or purses out for the next bolt-on upgrade or for the new bike entirely. Now, I've spoken in the past about when the right time is to upgrade, so we won't touch on that here. The only point I want to make is to challenge you to spend more time looking at yourself as a rider as opposed to spending hundreds or thousands on bike upgrades in the hope it'll net a positive lap time return. It's probably not the bike's fault. I remember seeing a discussion on a forum not too long ago around the difference between two top-end 1000cc sports bikes. The rider that made the post owned one of the models, but claimed it was very frustrating to ride because it had no punch out of the corners and he was losing out to other high-end machines at the tracks he rode. And actually, my first thought was, yeah, your particular machine is known to be pretty gutless from low down compared to other bikes, but I still wasn't convinced. Upon looking at the rider's footage he'd posted, I could see that he was charging into corners, often apexing too early when he did actually hit an apex, as well as being a little too eager to start his drive out of corners too, further spoiling his exits. Now, I'm not here to judge the guy's riding, we can all improve, but I did have to laugh to myself as I read his post and saw his adamance that a different bike would be the answer, when there was clearly a number of ways in which he could improve his corner exit drive without spending a penny. And this happens with bike setup too. Another place I often see this bike before rider feeling is not with upgrades but with setup. Sometimes I'll hear a rider say, my bike doesn't steer, but after more questioning we discover it's only in a couple of corners which both go left. Or they'll say something like, my bike always runs wide in this corner, only to later see that they're simply not being patient enough with the throttle in the middle of the corner. Whenever a bike sporadically has an issue and doesn't do what you'd like, this most often points to an issue with the rider, not one coming from the motorcycle itself. Look at yourself or get help. I've had many face-palm moments when listening to riders talk about how they're struggling with their riding for me or someone else to then casually suggest getting some help to ride faster and safer, only to be met with general disinterest or even a flat-out, I can't afford it. Then later on you discover they have a brand new Suzuki GSX-R sitting in the next garage from you. Maybe it stems from watching races on TV where they're always talking about how their bike can be improved, because there's always going to be weak spots. Maybe that has riders turning to their machine first, I'm not sure. But I do know that a healthy majority could reach much higher levels on a lot less money by focusing their time and resources on the squidgy thing sitting on top of that motorcycle. This could just be learning whatever you can from a trusted source and working things out yourself. Or it could be going to a riding school or getting some high-end coaching from a skilled coach. Whatever it is, whenever you feel there's an issue with the bike and it's not doing what you'd like it to do, I'd encourage your first internal question to be, how can I make this better? Because at track day level, the answer to an on-track problem will most often lie in what the rider is doing to hold themselves back, not in a deficiency in the bike itself. It's an approach that requires you to lose the ego as well as to stop looking for shortcuts. But it's also an approach that's going to bring you greater gains long term and possibly have you staying out of the kitty litter more often too. Have you ever had to check your ego at the door when looking to improve your riding? Tell us about it in the comments down below. And as always, if you like the video, then please hit the button and subscribe to the channel for more performance riding advice and guides moving forward. Take care.